Good afternoon and welcome to RMU Live. Today is Monday, October 19th, 2020. I'm Austin Bechtold.
And I'm Adam Maluso. Here's what's happening now.
The Allegheny County Health Department has released the latest coronavirus numbers for the past 48 hours. The health department is reporting 215 new cases and no new deaths. Of the 215 cases, 185 are confirmed, while 30 are probable and 7 are from positive antigen tests. 82 cases have been reported from ages between 25 and 49 years old, the highest from any other age group in the latest report. This brings the county total to 14,174 since the pandemic began, and the death toll sits at 405. The Pennsylvania Department of Health has announced a list of 25 states that they are concerned could potentially grow coronavirus numbers in PA. The department is asking that if you are returning from one of these states, including Alabama, Florida, Minnesota, and North Carolina, that you self-quarantine for 14 days upon returning to Pennsylvania. Officials say that the list is based on the number of COVID-19 cases reported in those 25 states.
Robert Morris University has seen a drop in the number of COVID-19 quarantined students on campus. In the most recent set of statistics released to the RMU website, 13 students are listed in quarantine along with 2 faculty members after exhibiting symptoms of the virus. 3 students and 1 faculty member are also in isolation after testing positive for the virus. You can find more information about current university COVID-19 trends at rmu.edu/about/health. And RMU has released their plan for the upcoming spring 2021 semester. In an email sent to students this past Wednesday, President Chris Howard clarified that 8-week courses will begin on the January 11th, while 15-week courses will begin on January 14th. Also, spring break will be shortened from its traditional week-long period of observance, now taking place the weekend of March 5th and 6th, and that commencement is still expected to take place as scheduled.
The 2020 Robert Morris Day of Giving is scheduled to begin this week on October 20th. The 24-hour fundraiser aims for the university to come together with a goal of 1,550 individuals making a contribution to the university. To help support this cause, you can donate your gift at rmu.edu/dayofgiving. The Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development hosted a Manufacturing Innovation Program Virtual Expo on October 2nd. The 5-person panel included Robert Morris 2019 engineering graduate Carol Nelson. Nelson spoke about her time investigating plastics with lasers as a part of a program working with RMU and MECCO. This grant has helped fund the purchase of an industrial laser for the new Robert Morris Learning Factory in the John Jay Building.
RMU police have announced that they are cracking down on enforcing parking regulations during the latter half of the semester as a response to now rectified issues within the Colonial lot on campus. Sergeant Beverly Gorman says that students who purchased a parking pass on or after August 22nd will no longer have access to the Colonial lot due to its gates being fixed. Students are encouraged to check their emails for more information. And the RMU Office of Residence Life is hosting a pumpkin carving contest to help students get into the fall spirit. Students can submit their creepy creations by noon next Monday for a chance to win prizes for the most creative design. The theme is in information technology, and once registered, students can come to campus to pick their pumpkin up. More instructions will be given in a forthcoming email from Head of Student Life, John Locke. And now to fill us in on more RMU-related content, let's toss it over to Colby Sherwin to give us the latest on Colonial sports.
Colby, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. Well, the Frozen Four will be returning to PPG Paints Arena in 2021 for the men's hockey tournament. It will be hosted by RMU, and the games will begin on April 8th through the 10th. Speaking of college hockey, the Atlantic Hockey Conference has announced they will return to play on November 13th. The men's hockey team will begin their 2020 season against the Mercyhurst Lakers. On the men's basketball side, NCAA-wide basketball practice began last week. The Colonials will be in the Horizon League for the first time when the season begins. And forward Yanis Mendy has signed with Avion Le Ponent, a French team in the NM1. They finished 5th in Group B. Mendy, who is from Midi, France, began his U.S. basketball career at Missouri State West. Then he transferred to RMU in 2018. Last year, Mendy averaged 8.6 points a game and 4.7 rebounds. Career-wise, he averaged 7.1 points a game and 4.3 rebounds a game. Congrats, Yanis. And in other men's basketball news, the March Madness will be returning to Pittsburgh in 2024. It will be in PPG Paints Arena. The first and second round will be here. And the NCAA has announced that D1 winter sport athletes who played in the 2020-2021 season will receive an extra year of eligibility. It also applies to spring and winter athletes. That's all for me. Let's see what the guys have at the desk. Adam?
Thanks, Colby. A man barricaded inside a home in Beachview led to a SWAT situation. Pittsburgh authorities arrived on the scene on Dawn Avenue early this morning after a dispute involving the man and his ex-girlfriend. The man was removed from the home and will be taken to the hospital before being transported. And the eastbound lanes on Interstate 70 have been closed for several hours after a tractor-trailer accident. 2 other vehicles were involved in the crash that took place early this morning. The interstate was closed in South Strabane Township between exits 20 and 25. There are currently no injuries reported as a result of the accident. A Pittsburgh man is dead following an early morning weekend shooting in Indiana County. Police say that 20-year-old Jaden Kadim Mawright of Homewood was discovered shot in the abdomen around 4 a.m. Saturday on Oakland Avenue. Wright was taken to Indiana Regional Medical Center where he was pronounced dead. Police have arrested 17-year-old Isabella Edmonds. She's being charged as an adult with criminal homicide, robbery, conspiracy to commit robbery, and conspiracy to commit theft by unlawful taking. Police have also charged 20-year-old Isaiah Moore of Philadelphia with the same counts and are attempting to locate him. 2 other suspects in this case are also still being searched for.
Allegheny County Police are investigating after 3 people were injured in a shooting early Saturday morning in Pittsburgh. Authorities say the incident occurred in the 1700 block of Arlington Avenue around 3:30 a.m. The victims were transported to local hospitals for treatment with non-life-threatening injuries, and their conditions are not considered critical. The victims' identities are not known at this time, but police say that 2 women and a man were among those shot. Those with any information are asked to contact police. 2 men are in stable condition after a shooting on Mount Washington Friday night. The men, with one being shot in the arm and the other with a grazed injury, told police that the shooting occurred in the 400 block of Meriden Street near Olympia Park. Police have charged 19-year-old Ramon White Jr. with 4 crimes connected to the shooting, including aggravated assault and criminal attempted homicide. Allegheny County homicide detectives are investigating the discovery of a man's body found late Saturday morning around 11:25 p.m. in Edgewood. The man was found at the 1700 block of South Braddock Avenue with no foul play suspected. His identity has not yet been released. If you know anything about the discovery by police and have any information, contact the police county tip line at 1-833-ALL-TIPS.
Special agents from the U.S. Postal Service raided the home of an Allegheny County mail carrier over the weekend. According to neighbors, authorities searched Sean Troish's home on Meadowcrest Road in Baldwin and seized 8 large garbage bags of undelivered mail. The USPS's Office of the Inspector General said that their agents acted on a tip and promised to conduct a thorough inventory of the bags. Neighbors say that bags like those seized were placed outside of Troish's home nearly every Sunday night for Monday morning pickup, and they fear similar mail has been sent to the landfill. No discarded ballots were found among the contents of the seizure. And police are investigating after a man was shot in the leg in New Brighton Saturday evening. Officers responded to the 1600 block of Terman Avenue for a sharp spotter alert. They eventually located the victim in the 1500 block of Davis Avenue. Officers applied a tourniquet until medical help arrived. The man was taken to the hospital in stable condition. Police are still searching for the shooter and investigating the incident.
Sugar Camp Road in Peters Township is closed after a vehicle accident on the road early Sunday morning. The accident involves downed power lines, and the Peters Township Fire Department says the closure may impact travelers trying to get to Trax Farms. The fire department is asking people to attempt a different route to avoid the power lines. Stanton Heights and Garfield were issued a precautionary flush and boil water advisory on Saturday after reported damage from crews during T-Mobile construction. The Pittsburgh Water and Sewer Authority says that the damage occurred around the Garfield tank. The loss of water pressure, which occurred because of a pump issue at the tank, can cause contaminants in drinking water. About 300 houses were affected by the advisory. It was a little wet outside the studio this morning. We're going to send it over now to Ethan Morrison to see what we can expect for the rest of today. Ethan, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Austin. Yes, after a dry and pleasant weekend, October weekend, we are being hit with some rain today. As you can expect, a high of 57 degrees and a low of 54. Expect a 87% humidity and a chance of precipitation of 90%. Today's hourly forecast expects some more rain at 3 p.m. At 55 degrees, at 6, 57 degrees, and then later tonight at 9 p.m. expect a temperature of 56 degrees. That is your latest weather. I'll toss it back to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ethan. Coming up after the break, Sean Parnell is filing a lawsuit for poll watchers.
And a former Pittsburgh Steeler has endorsed Joe Biden. We'll tell you who that is coming up after the break.
heart doesn't see race. Love is love.
What are you doing in there?
What's that?
I wouldn't do that. What are you doing? What are you looking for?
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
If you're a Pennsylvania resident hoping to vote in the upcoming presidential election, today is the last day to act. The deadline for Pennsylvania voting registration is 5 p.m. tonight. You can register to vote through the state's online voter registration system or submit a paper registration to your county election office. Once your registration is accepted, you will receive your voter card in the mail. You must be a resident of your district for at least 30 days and be 18 years or older to register.
Republican congressional candidates Sean Parnell and Luke Negron filed a federal court lawsuit on Friday in hopes of being granted poll watchers for Allegheny County election sites. The two candidates argued that these poll watchers are necessary in preserving the integrity of the election. The document mentions the report that earlier in the week, nearly 29,000 voters were given the wrong ballot due to an error by the printing company. The suit also says that Parnell and Negron attempt to get their poll watcher certificates from satellite offices, but their request was denied. So what is the responsibility of a poll watcher? Poll watchers date back to the 18th century and look for indicators of bias or election interference by observing in-person voting and potentially challenging voter qualifications. They cannot photograph or videotape voters, give false or misleading election information, engage in threatening behavior, or block the entrance to a polling place. Poll watchers are being viewed as a critical part of the integrity of the 2020 election.
A mailing office is facing questions after nearly 30,000 voters in Allegheny County and 58,000 voters in Westmoreland County received incorrect mail-in and absentee ballots. Midwest Direct, based out of Cleveland, is allegedly responsible for printing ballots in states such as Pennsylvania and Ohio, but wrongly addressing the ballots. A picture obtained by the New York Times also shows a flag in support of President Donald Trump flying outside the company's headquarters. Midwest Direct CEO Richard Gebbe told the Times that the company supports the president and they are making sure that all voters have their voices heard on November 3rd and that absentee ballots are sent out correctly. A local Pittsburgh native got the chance to ask former Vice President Joe Biden about one of the issues key to Pennsylvania in this election in fracking during his town hall on ABC last Thursday. Michelle Elliston, a local consultant, questioned Biden about the negative effects of fracking and what other industries could be brought to southwestern Pennsylvania. Biden stated his support for the well capping industry as well as green energy sources such as wind energy and solar energy.
Former Pittsburgh Steeler All-Pro and now retired linebacker Ryan Shazier announced his support of Joe Biden in the upcoming election. Shazier encourages the Pittsburgh community to go out and vote this November in the advertisement titled Flex Your Power. Shazier said how he did not vote in 2016 because he didn't think his vote mattered, but now says, quote, won't make that mistake again, end quote. The commercial aired during the Steelers game this Sunday against the Cleveland Browns. 3 people are facing charges in Baden-Beaver County Friday night after they were caught with campaign signs in the back of their vehicle. The sign stealing occurred along Detmer Avenue and North Avenue. Police noticed a vehicle with the rear hatch light ajar attempting to flee the area. 1 adult and 2 juvenile women were charged with theft of movable property, criminal mischief, loitering and prowling at nighttime, and corruption of minors. When asked why they stole these signs, the 3 said, quote, they were just having a little fun, end quote. The pandemic has halted many long-standing traditions in 2020, but this is not the case for the Oakmont Bakery. Every 4 years from now, over the past 20 years, owner Mark Serro has held a presidential cookie poll to celebrate the election. The bakery makes and sells cookies with the candidates' faces on them. Whoever sells the most cookies is called the unofficial winner of the race. Sarah said that people go into the shop and say, quote, "I'm going to buy a dozen of those just so I can bite his head off," end quote. Sarah thought about ending the tradition, but his son convinced him to keep the family tradition alive. To get more news regarding Pittsburgh, Moon Township, and Robert Morris, be sure to visit RMU-CenturyMedia.com to see the latest on Colonial sports. You can check out ColonialSportsNetwork.com.
When we come back, Colby Sherwin will break down the latest in sports. Stay tuned.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? And now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Jason, let's go see your room.
That's not right. How is it? Is it good?
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Legendary NHL on NBC announcer Mike "Doc" Emmerich has announced his retirement this morning after 15 years as the main play-by-play broadcaster on the network. Emmerich, who's 74, has called 22 Stanley Cup Finals and won 8 Sports Emmy Awards, winning every year since 2014. He served as the main play-by-play man for the New Jersey Devils for 21 years and had stints at ESPN, Fox, ABC, CBS, as well as at 6 Olympic Winter Games. Cleveland Browns wide receiver Jarvis Landry paid tribute to late Pittsburgh rapper Mac Miller on Sunday's game when the Browns faced the Steelers. Jarvis Landry honored the rapper with specially designed cleats that depicted Miller's face and the years of his life, 1992 to 2018. Jarvis Landry also showed his appreciation in an Instagram post the day before the game. The tribute was a nice gesture that comes outside of the Browns and Steelers rivalry.
And despite the win by the Steelers on Sunday afternoon, they suffered a big loss on the field for the remainder of the season. As reported first by ESPN's Adam Schefter, inside linebacker Devin Bush tore his ACL during the Black and Gold's victory against the Browns after diving for a tackle on Cleveland running back DeErnest Johnson. The Steelers will feel the impact of Bush's absence during next week's matchup against the Tennessee Titans, which was rescheduled from Week 5 due to a rash of COVID-positive tests on the Titans. Switching now to high school football, the Aliquippa football team was informed by the PIAA that they were offset by a rule known as the competitive balance formula, which forced the Quips to move up to 4A classification, 3 levels higher than they would normally be playing at after years of voluntarily playing schools at a bigger competition level than them from 1A to 3A classification. This was due to their postseason record and the number of transfers over the last 3 years. The team is set to head into Week 7 next Saturday against Blackhawk.
Now we're going to toss it over to Colby Sherwin to give us an even deeper look into the latest sports. Colby?
Thanks, guys. Well, the Steelers destroyed the Cleveland Browns yesterday, 38-7. James Conner had a day with 100 yards and a touchdown, and Chase Mapletron Claypool had another touchdown. The Steelers defense got a pick six, Micah Fitzpatrick, in the first quarter. They held the top rushing offense in the NFL to 75 yards and Kareem Hunt to 40 yards. The Steelers are 5-0 for the first time since 1978. That was a pretty good year because that year they won the Super Bowl. And they take on the Tennessee Titans next week in an all 5-0 battle. To college football now, the Pitt Panthers unfortunately fell to the Miami Hurricanes 31-19. This leaves the Panthers to 3-3. One big player who didn't take the field for Pitt was quarterback Kenny Pickett. In his place due to an injury was Joey Yellens. He made his ACC debut. In hockey news, the Penguins signed defenseman Cody Ceci to a one-year, $1.25 million contract. Last year for the Maple Leafs, he put up 8 points and he was a +7. If he's not on the top line, I like the signing. In the MLB world, the World Series is now set. In the AL, the Tampa Bay Rays took down the Houston Astros in Game 7 of the ALCS. Randy Arozarena was named Series MVP with his 4 home runs. For Houston, Carlos Correa had 2 home runs. Other than him, it felt like the Astros were missing a bit of a bang this series. In the NL, the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Atlanta Braves in Game 7 of the NLCS. Cody Bellinger blasted a home run in the 7th inning to take the lead in the game, and Corey Seager had a record-setting series with 5 home runs and 11 RBIs. The Dodgers came back from 3-1 in the series, making yet another lead that an Atlanta pro sports team has blown. Game 1 of the World Series will be tomorrow at 8:09 p.m. in Arlington, Texas, with limited fans allowed in the game. And in the NFL tonight at 5, 2 MVP candidates will play as Josh Allen and the 4-1 Bills host Patrick Mahomes and his new teammate Le'Veon Bell and the 4-1 Chiefs. Then later tonight at 8:15, Kyler Murray and the 3-2 Arizona Cardinals take on the Dallas Cowboys, who will be forced to start Andy Dalton due to an ankle injury to Dak Prescott. I see the Chiefs taking down the Bills and the Cardinals winning against the Cowboys. Some great NFL games tonight. Guys?
Thanks, Colby. The owner of a pair of Pittsburgh malls has announced that they are on the verge of bankruptcy. Tennessee-based CBL & Associates, which owns the Monroeville Mall in Monroeville and the Westmoreland Mall in Greensburg, have stated that this filing comes after many tenants were unable to pay rent due to the COVID-19 pandemic. However, CBL CEO Stephen Leibowitz said in a news release that no changes will be coming to the operation of either mall. The filing is expected to be finalized next month. And a popular Cajun cuisine staple in Market Square has been put up for sale. The Nola on the Square restaurant, which was opened in 2011 by the late Yves Curio, a key mover in the downtown Pittsburgh Market Square restaurant scene, currently lists at $125,000 and has 6,000 square feet in total. The broker handling the lease, Ron Sofranco, says that this is what he terms a turnkey operation, and that with work, a new chef could clean up the space and restore it to its former operating status with how high the value is.
KDKA Radio and host Wendy Bell have mutually parted ways on Friday. Bell was taken off the airwaves at KDKA due to controversial comments that the station owner Entercom said do not align with their values. Bell stated that park rangers should, quote, shoot on sight people who deface public monuments. Bell said that she will continue to stream her show on her website as well as on her Facebook page. A few local communities are moving forward with trick-or-treating, despite COVID-19 playing a factor in this year's holiday celebrations. On October 5th, the city of Pittsburgh announced that it'll welcome Halloween festivities as long as safety protocols are allowed. The city asked that children trick-or-treat only with family members, wear face masks as well as Halloween masks, follow social distancing, and not attend indoor costume parties, among other regulations. Kids should still be able to enjoy Halloween by receiving candy in a bowl left outside by neighborhood residents.
COVID-19 has completely changed the way that we view the world, and one holiday is quickly approaching that will require modifications in most communities. RMU Radio reporter John Blinn tells us what to expect.
With the leaves turning red and yellow, it means that autumn has arrived, and with it comes Halloween. However, this year, trick-or-treaters can expect to celebrate in a socially distanced manner. Health Services Administration major senior Brittany Coulter expects things to look a little different on this Hallows Eve.
I could see trick-or-treating going the same, but maybe less Halloween parties for the adults, other stuff in the community like that.
For psychology senior Mickey McCabe, Halloween safety is just as big of a concern on campus as it is in the local community.
I kind of hope people don't party just so we don't kind of get screwed over on campus, but I mean, that one's kind of like give or take. I don't know what people are going to do on campus.
McKay believes that campus surveillance could be increased during the holiday, but is also aware this may not be the ultimate solution.
They could just like increase like how many times they do rounds around the apartment buildings, but again, like students can do parties off campus and stuff like that.
In terms of community safety, Coulter says that children could consider including masks in their costumes.
If it was me, I would be okay with my child going as long as their costume like involves some kind of mask and like wash their hands, stuff like that.
At the end of the day, Coulter believes safe celebrations is just a matter of simply being smart.
If you're sick, turn off your light, don't give out candy, avoid Halloween parties, and just like be smart with taking children out, you know, like tell them to wash their hands, let them wear masks, don't make a big deal out of it.
Moon Township currently plans to hold their trick-or-treating night on October 31st. After the break, Ethan Morrison is back in our weather studio to give us a full look at what to expect this week.
Stay tuned for more.
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys?
Thanks for being honest.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Standard precise, no margin for error.
Dare to forget that. Dare to have fun with it. Get weird with it. Dare to send those old STEM theories flying past the neighbor's house into outer space. Dare to program something internet-breaking, record-breaking. Dare to blow their minds. Dare to learn the difference between sedimentary and metamorphic rock. Go find those rocks. Dare to keep daring. Dare to STEM. Check out She Can STEM to get started.
Welcome back to RMU Live. Now let's toss it over to Ethan Morrison to give us a full look at this week's weather. Ethan?
Thank you, Austin. So today, you can expect a high of 57 degrees and a low of 54, a chance of precipitation of 90%. And then tomorrow you got, at 3 p.m. today, you have a chance of rain tomorrow's weather. You have a high of 57 and a low of 56 with a chance of precipitation of 70%. And then looking at the hourly forecast for today, at 3 p.m., 55 degrees. At 6, 57 degrees. And then at 9 p.m., expect a temperature of 56 degrees. Let's take a look at the 5-day forecast. On Wednesday, expect a high of 74 degrees and a low of 53. On Thursday, expect a high of 78 degrees and a low of 56. On Friday, expect a high of 76 degrees and a low of 57. Saturday, expect some rain with a high of 60 degrees and a low of 43. And then to cap it off on Sunday, a high of 56 degrees and a low of 48. That's your weather. Let's toss it back to the guys at the desk.
Thanks, Ethan. And thank you for joining us for RMU Live today. I'm Adam Maluso.
Adam, it looks like it's going to be a little rainy today and tomorrow.
It's going to be crazy. I'm hoping that it warms up a little bit. It's supposed to warm up by the end of the week.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. You know, we've really had nice weather. There really hasn't been, the typical fall weather. So, it's really good to have that. But I'm Austin Bechtel. Thanks for watching, and we will see you next Monday here on RMU Live.